I sent that clip to a black woman, and she went off in my text messages.
What do you mean?
I sent her. We were talking about Kamala, and I sent this clip of Trump saying Kamala's not black. She goes, "I'll say this, then I'm done because I don't want to debate or argue with you. Most people who go to Howard don't consider themselves non-black. All of this rhetoric is just to discredit and undermine another black woman. Please don't text me any more nonsense. I don't find it humorous. It's sad and demoralizing to black women."
She sound like she already had that typed up for you, big dog. She sound like she done already got that typed up for you, big dog. Jesus, that's not a friend.
But since when going to a HBCU makes you black?
Black, yeah. And then she said that her dad was Jamaican. I was like, just because you're Jamaican don't mean you're black. There's white Jamaicans.
Exactly. And her dad said he's not black. He's explicitly said this over and over and over again. I don't know why people don't read. I don't know why people just don't go look at his interview. And I don't know why people can't just look at his her birth certificate. It's online.
I guess my thing is, I think the black conversation is a distraction from the policy.
Yeah, because they don't ever any talk about it. They literally don't bring up her policy at all.
Well, I think it's good because if she's gonna say that she's black, then make her stand on doing something for black people, which would have her have to have policies.
Well, if I was running for president of the United States of America, I wouldn't do anything specifically for black people. So,
well, you're not supposed to do anything specifically that works for one group, but when you have done things specifically that works for one group, it kind of debunks your point of saying I'm not going to do something for one group.
Yep, they did something for the gays. They did something for the
She literally
Asians.
got in office and did something for the Asians. So you can't say
I would be repealing every fucking thing, to be honest with you, bro. Either you expand it for everybody or you repeal it and it shouldn't be for anybody. That's how I stand. That's how I feel. Either everybody can be a part of it or nobody can be a part of it.
Right. And to somebody's point in the chat, I told a couple of Kamala supporters that earlier. They were like, "Oh well, I think I know a black woman when I see it." I said, "Well, y'all didn't know Rachel Dolezal, and she was at the top of the food chain when it comes to African American women."
I have no idea. Let me play some.
And she's turned to be a whole white woman.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former...
Is that her name, Rachel Scott? I didn't know that was her name.
President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Give me a definition.
Yeah. I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is all
right.
Somebody should look into that. That was my part. Trump was 100% on point, and they're mad because he called it out. But let's be clear, she's been on a lot of things, interviews, her getting sworn in. I mean, so many things, and she's always stated that she was Asian.
What is this obsession with being something else? I remember when I was growing up, um, and honestly, I didn't even realize that black people thought it was cool to identify themselves as black until after I started becoming an adult and they started talking about whether or not somebody was invited to the picnic. Because when I was growing up, they used to. I remember one of the sayings was, if a girl had really good hair, they would ask her if she had Indian in her family. I don't know if anybody has experienced that. I don't know if that was just a Detroit thing, but if a girl
Yeah,
had
that was
baby
a
hairs, huh?
yeah, that's a black people thing. You
Yeah,
must have
or they would
Indian
I
in your
say,
never heard
"Oh,
family.
that.
she mixed," or if I get with
Yup.
this girl, we gonna have some mixed kids. And so it's always, in my opinion, been celebrated to deal with women that were outside of the black, identifying themselves as black.
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
being
can
like,
agree with
when I
that.
was growing up, and again, you could say if it was something that was taught, but into whatever the narrative was, whatever the narrative is, it's always been a thing to, the lighter you are or the more that you got in your family or whatever like that, you was always celebrated more or more coveted than the women that identified as black.
Yeah, which is why I think it does black women a disservice to always champion all the mulattoes, all the mixed women. They champion all of that instead of champion the people that look like you and that are actually black, have two black parents, and so on and so on and so on. Like I really think Stacey Abrams, even though I'm not a Democrat and I'm not voting for them, but Stacey Abrams did all that work, and I think a lot of black women didn't want to put her up there because she represents what they don't like about themselves.
Stacey Abrams is the chick that passed herself off as black for a long time, right?
No, Stacey Abrams is the Democrat from Georgia who did all that work for Biden the first time and who was out there in ATL just the other day doing the work again,
Mm.
only to get passed up for Kamala, the non-black black.
But I think that also, and I know this is the uncomfortable conversation that we having right now, but I think that it's also important to be marketable. And we don't say it, we don't like to talk about it, but being marketable is absolutely one of the important things in order to continue to level up in life. Right? Like, okay, I'll give you an
Agreed.
example. When we talk about the NBA or we talk about sports, and you can even go over to the Celtics. And I said that Jason Tatum is absolutely going to be the face of the NBA above Jalen Brown because Jason Tatum is light skinned with good hair. That's just the facts. It's just the facts. And I think that people often at times say that they not black or they pick and choose when they are black because it's convenient and it's marketable. And so now, for example, I think that Kamala Harris probably celebrated more of the Indian side of where she comes from than she did the black part until it became popular to get the black vote. And then all of a sudden I'm black again. And so people code switch based off of what they want to identify as, depending on how they need to leverage it in order to continue to level up.
Yeah, but that would apply to Kamala if she was actually black, right? I'm a mixed person, and that will apply to people that are biracial. She's not biracial. She's not black. She don't have a black parent, grandparent, anybody. So this is just a whole liar.
I don't even know how we define black no more though.
And that's another problem because everybody gets to be black, but you don't get to be everybody else. So if everybody gets to be in your group, then everybody else is going to come before you. And best believe white people are going to pick the closest to them before they pick you.
And Quentin, I think that Quentin don't care about that either. Quentin absolutely don't care about the whole black conversation. I think it probably bothers Quentin more than anything. Quentin, we can't hear you, big dog.
What about the black conversation? What do you think bothers me?
I think that
I
it
don't.
bothers you when people say that you're not black enough.
Oh no, I don't care.
But you probably don't care now.
I never did. I just think these niggas, like there's a certain group of black people who say that to me, and those group of black people, they don't. They're generally not in my sphere, and I tend to think they're beneath me. So I generally I don't care.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. It is interesting. I do think that Trump ran into hostile territory. I think he knew he was coming into hostile territory. I didn't know that that woman was an ABC reporter, and that's why he kind of started hitting on the fact I don't like ABC, and he started going in on ABC itself because she is an ABC reporter. Her name is Rachel Scott. Yep, her
Hmm.
name is Rachel Scott, and so she's a correspondent for ABC and ABC News. And that's why she was up there. So they had somebody from ABC, they had somebody from Fox, which was the woman in the pink. I don't know what the woman in the middle was from. She must have been a DEI hire because she didn't even seem qualified to be up there, to be honest with you. But I think he ran into hostile territory, and I think that it was telling more than we could ever say. Whether you pick the side of yeah she was hostile or yeah he didn't respond the way that people wanted him to respond. I think it more or less showcased the hostility between people that don't necessarily identify with those that they disagree with, and so there is no more respect. There is no more being cordial. There is no more, you know, I respect my opponent anymore. All of that is out the door. Everything is
It's
out the door.
it's the same thing for his first term. To put it against, so they just tried to push this narrative that he doesn't like black people and he's racist. And I think he's been around enough to know that's probably not true.
But I like
Somebody
the
even
I
said
like the
they were
definition.
You
the
like the
definition of
I
what?
definition?
like the definition. Yeah, I like that he asked her to define it, right? And then she tried to be smart and said, I did. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
But
No, that's stating what the acronym is. Defining it would be how are you applying it? And she didn't want to answer that, but then she ended up having to say, do you think she's just hired because she's black? So that's what you really wanted to ask.
Mm,
And I think he answered it great because it goes to show, because let's be clear, Trump knows those Democrats. He was a Democrat at one point, and he used to fund all of them, including Hillary Clinton and all the rest of them. So he
mm,
knows them. And just like you said, Kamala is not black. He knows she's not black. That's why he said somebody should go look into it.
mm.
Clearly, her birth certificate says so.
And I
that's
honestly,
fine.
I don't even. I just wish. I think we need to throw all of that shit away. I don't think it even matter whether you black. None of that stuff no more. I think it's all out the window because we all mutts at the end of the day. All of us is mixed with something at some point. All of us
It
is mixed
doesn't,
with
but
something.
it doesn't, but it makes her a liar, right? If you
No, no, I agree with
there
you on
are
that.
people who are not
Absolutely.
who are black, right? Black. And
I
to
think
sit there and say that you're black when you know you're not is
That's an
dishonest.
American thing. Like I have some
Yes.
Scottish. There's some that's some. I have Scottish friends, and they don't say I have black friends. Like that's not a thing over there.
Yes, you're correct. I said that tons of times on this stream. I keep saying like this whole argument, I never have to do this outside of America. It's only here.
Yeah.
I never
Somebody
have to
said in the chat
argue that.
said that they was part of the NAACP. What is the NAACP now? What do they represent? Because the
The
NAACP, in my opinion,
National.
has not been visible or relevant in a long time outside of being just an organization that's been around for a long time.
Hmm.
I don't see the
I
relevance in
don't
the
know what they do.
NAACP,
I know what
honestly.
they used to do. I don't know what they do now.
Because like they not even for black people. They was created as an organization that supported black people. Now they're when we say color, that could be black, brown, all of this other stuff. So it's like none of this stuff is real no more. All of this stuff is just to maintain appearances and to continue to make money and donations. Honest to God, like I don't respect it. I don't, and I think the most unfortunate part is that we teach our kids to hate, or we teach our kids that they're gonna automatically run into trouble already just because they are of a certain color, and it's silly to me. It's silly, almost to the point to where the white man has literally become the enemy of the United States of America at this point. The least cool thing you could be as a white man. The least cool thing you could be as a white man.